Hello, welcome to the inaugural Innovecs Games webinar, the first of many, hopefully, future sessions. Today we're discussing how to build a memorable mobile game with Unity. We have a bunch of our internal experts from Innovecs Games, Stanislav Felinskyi, who is our VP of Technology and Software Development Director.
Yeah.
Denis Romas, Senior Game Designer, and Oleksandr, Senior Technical Artist. Thank you all for joining. Today we're gonna break down what y'all use Unity for, what excites you the most, maybe what some of the pain points about it, and we're gonna jump right into it and get what y'all think.
Thank you.
Maybe let's start with some quick introductions. Stas, kick it off. Maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and your role.
Yeah, with pleasure. Thank you for invitation. So I'm Stas. I'm mostly technical guy, yeah, and I'm working in game dev. Briefly, that's it about me. But without jokes, yeah, here in Innovecs Games we are creating full cycle of games. So we are not only using Unity to create front for the game, like the part who usually actually see, but we also able to create strong backend for the games. So, and this is my goal, and this is my point of interest. Alexander, Alex.
Yeah, I'm a technical artist. That means that I'm somewhere between artists and developers. Mostly, I'm helping them to speak correct language, because when developers try to speak with artists, it's always messed up thing. Yeah, and I'm some kind of bridge between them. Most of the time I'm integrating something beautiful into engine and make it more beautiful. Yeah, and assure that it works correctly. Yeah, something like that.
James?
Yeah, so I'm game designer here in Innovecs. My responsibility is actually making game schemes, game loops, core loops, and also everything that will be presented as game design documents and then pushed to Stas and Alex, so the game will come in eventually. Yeah.
So it sounds like the full cycle of game development crew here. Glad to have you all on board talking us through this. So I have a handful of questions and looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Let's kick it off with the very first one, and maybe Stas, you can get us started today. Can you let us know a little bit about why do you enjoy using Unity in your day-to-day work, and how?
Well, yeah. First of all, because I used to use Unity in my day-to-day work. Yeah, but again, Unity is really flexible and convenient engine that has a lot of tool for game development, and it covers a lot of needs of game developers for 2D, 3D, physics 2D, physics 3D, any graphics, and so on and so forth. Also, we have a lot of talents available who are working with Unity day to day, and we are able to build games on any platform. It's multi-platform engine, so we are able to build on Windows, macOS, and even Linux system. Yeah, and that's why I love Unity as engineer, as developer. But probably Alex and Denis can add something to my answer.
Yeah. What can I say? That once you get know Unity a little better than just a beginner, it became extremely comfortable and powerful engine, because I remember when I was like just a young guy who opened Unity for the first time, like, what's going on? but like in 1 week, I guess everything became really understandable and logical. So it's sometimes I'm really like relaxing while I'm working, and sometimes it's meditation, but sometimes
It's pain.
yeah, well, as every soft on computers. So yeah, it really comfortable engine to work with, and it has a lot of tools that can be used creatively. Like combining them is often make something new and unpredictable, but good. That should I say? Yeah.
And Dennis, from your side?
Yeah, I would like to add that for me as a game designer, Unity provides valuable tools to make my ideas happen via prototyping, even without the help of developers. So now we have extended development of AI tools, some kind of chats, AI helping tools that will provide the possibility even to artists without any knowledge of C# or any other programming language to prototype the game of their dream. And that's why the Unity is a very good tool for game development and wannabe game developer, and also for small teams, for indie development, and also the big companies as ours, because it will help us to make sure that we provide the prototype in the lowest possible time, lowest time as possible. Yeah, this is it.
And sticking with you, let's just go immediately right into the next question. Obviously, you're not so much on the design side yourself, or sorry, you are on the design side, but not the art side. So this question will apply more to the other two gents. But in your perspective, what are the key graphic elements of Unity that stand out to you as a designer, and how does it help you realize your artistic vision? For you, Dennis,
Yeah.
take it away.
For me, if we are talking regarding the art side of the Unity engine, I believe it's like rendering pipelines, different rendering pipelines that Unity provides. And we have currently 3 main pipelines that will suit to every need or possible game that we will try to develop. And also there are a lot of tools in Unity that will provide help with sprites, with animations, with sounds, with everything that everything that game will contain. And personally, I used tools with 2D arts, 2D sprites, editing tools, and they are very convenient, very straightforward, and easy to use. And I believe Alex could provide more information regarding this topic because it's his field of responsibility on our team.
Yeah. Well, to continue about like game designers part of work, it's really it has a lot of comfortable tools for prototyping, and you can create a level which pretty much gonna look like 60 or 90% the same way as it's gonna be with the final art, even some simple particles, because it's have Unity have a good particle system components that are flexible and easy to tune with pretty much one system. You can achieve a lot of dramatically different visual effects. It's kind of great. because sometimes people trying to write their own tools for this purpose, but the Unity stuff is almost in every case better because it has everything that you need in it. Yeah, also, what can I say about Animator? It's a pretty powerful tool to animate like UIs, 2D stuff, 3D stuff. Unfortunately, not for every game style, but pretty much for like, I don't know, 90% of games, it's gonna be enough. And the Animator is quite easy to use. So this is a big plus. Of time, often game designers or even people who just sit for the first time for the Unity, they can work with Animator like in 1 or 2 hours. It's pretty easy, and that's amazing result for me because animation that's it's quite hard actually, but not in Unity.
Just to dig in on that topic a little bit, I know we're talking about how to build a memorable game, and obviously the key focus is on things you can do, but that did pique my attention. What is that 5 to 10% of games that you can't actually build with Unity?
Pretty much shooters, because if we're gonna talk about competitors, sometimes they have tools for the animation for the shooters from the third-person shooters. This is what Unity has to add at some point, and they're actually tried, but it was just a prototype of the tool. It was a prototype of the Animator. They are tried, but for now I don't know if that was added as a final result, because most of the time right now I'm working with 2D games and not with shooters. So I have a kind of a lack of expertise in this right now.
But this is all for primarily like mobile, some iGaming games, and I mean obviously covers 90% of gaming outside of just shooters. But any specific sub focus?
Yeah, I should say if you wanna make like clone of the Fortnite on the Unity, it's gonna be at some points like the animations of the shooting, of strafing, like the guy with gun. There's gonna be struggles, unfortunately.
But it's possible.
Yeah, but it's possible.
It's possible actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stas, did you have something to add here on some of
not from the graphic elements. Alex cover all of the tools from. I understand how graphics in Unity work, but I cannot create something beautiful. I cannot make out.
So this actually segues quite well into our next question, given that you addressed that it's made for about 90 gig. Unity can cover about 90% of the games you want to build. But maybe I'd like to understand from your guys' perspective, not just from pure statistical side, why is Unity actually so widely used in the general gaming and iGaming industry?
Okay, so if you don't mind, I would like to start. Yeah, first I would like to mention Unity has low entry barrier. It doesn't mean that Unity is simple. Unity is not simple. And we need to investigate and learn Unity every day in our day-to-day work. But to start work with Unity and to start build the game is Unity is simple. Unity friendly. It explains everything how to build the game. The second, from my personal point of view is C# language. Unity is utilizing C# language. It's commonly used language to resolve any issue in industry, not only in game dev, but in any industry. You can build servers, you can build website, you can create DevOps pipeline with C#, and right now, together with Unity, you can also build games with Unity due to C#. Also, Unity has a lot of tools, packages, and mostly open source solution that we can use to reach our goals.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the tools? You've mentioned that they have a very diverse tool set. Can you tell me some of the, let's say, 2 or 3 top tools that come to mind?
Yeah, definitely. So, as we mentioned, for the C#, it's object-oriented language, and we have some rules and patterns how to build flexible applications with object-oriented approach. So in this case, for example, we have to use dependency inversion, and to reach our goals with dependency inversion, we have good open source packages. Not only one, we have a lot of good open source packages for dependency injection. The same for AI. For example, behavior trees to build predefined AI, like for units, for NPCs, and so on and so forth. And also this approach is implemented in different realization, open source and paid packages, most of the open source, and it can be simply implemented and work with Unity.
And Dennis, how about from your side? Why do you find Unity so widely used and so popular?
Yeah, for game designers, the availability of the extensive asset store in basically Unity store that is available from the inside the Unity editor, it's a very good possibility to visualize your ideas. So you may find any free or for a little price tag packages that will fit your game style, game design ideas. And when you're prototyping, you are not just making some kind of boring gray boxes, but you use some kind of interesting 3D models. And usually it will help to discover what will the game look like when it will be ready, and also it will provide some information for the stakeholders when you just presenting them your ideas. Because usually not everyone has this wide imagination to see what we are going to make when we just present them some kind of boxes and green fields. Yeah. So for game design perspective, Unity Asset Store is a great asset, and it helps in our day-to-day work. Yeah.
Alex, do you have anything to add there in terms of how do you find it so popular?
Yeah, guys actually said pretty much all. I just can add my personal experience that like 5 years ago, when I was just a student of a 3D school, I wasn't even like technical artist, just 3D artist. We had a final exam to make a prototype of the game, and we had like choice Unity project with extremely understandable instructions, and Unreal Engine project. And it was like, what the hell is going on here? And from 15 students, I guess, I was only one person who chose the not Unity, and I had to choose Unity because it was much simpler for the beginning, for the entry process. And I think that's great thing that you can not struggling so much at the beginning, because it's the important period of time, like and you try to do something new, and you fail for the first time, fail for the second time, for the third time, it's success. With the competitors, it's not always for the third time. So, yeah.
Do you think that this is for the same reason why a lot of studios actually decide which game engines to go with? So how easy it is to adopt, and then how much trial and error you can have before taking it to market? Or, in your opinion, how do you think that studios decide which game engines they should use for their specific mobile game?
Yeah.
Yeah, from previous my thoughts, we can say that's like a conclusion. It's talents availability, because a lot of people on the market know Unity. It's kind of that. Yeah,
And Stas, on your side, what are your perspectives? How does studios decide which game engine?
When studios evaluate the engine, what will be used for the next game, first of all, they pay attention to licensing. Of course, we can build our custom engine, and we do not pay anything to anyone. So we can utilize it as we need, and as we want. But of course, it takes time, and usually when it should be ready, yesterday. Again, we need to move with Unity, and Unity has really flexible licensing, because for experimenting, you do not pay anything to Unity. Until the game will not make you money, you do not pay anything to Unity. Or you can buy, I don't remember how it's named, but you can buy first license for the indie development, and it will be enough. The second point is what studios do. They actually technically evaluate scope and platform for the game. If this is a mobile game, Unity is the best choice, because Unity is perfectly working for mobile games. But also Unity cover all other platforms, like standalone, like consoles, or even we can build game servers with Unity. It's actually like standalone applications that is running. And the question is, is it possible to build clone of Call of Duty with Unity? Yes, of course. Everything depends on developer. You can utilize already created tools and build Call of Duty, or even if you need, you can integrate additional plugins, pipelines, and so on and so forth to build this graphics, to build the shooting system. So yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, everything depends on the developers, actually.
Yeah,
and
but Unity allow it.
Yeah, and there's like at least 2 shooters that I know made on Unity that like something similar to Call of Duty. So totally.
So moving to our next question, and Dennis, I think we've let you sit quietly for a little too long. What are some of the things about Unity that you're aware of that maybe some non-users should know about, that might be hidden behind, not necessarily the gates of Unity, but just as you're evaluating game engines, what's something that you found out once you started using it?
Yeah, so Unity is an interesting tool, but it's somewhat configured from the box to present like some average graphic settings and average visual styling for the game. For example, Unreal Engine from the box is set to represent best visual quality that it could provide. And so it's like a common thought regarding Unity that it can't make visually stunning and beautiful games as Unreal Engine could. and this is basically wrong, because if you just dig slightly deeper into the settings and Unity features, you will see that it could basically make everything that other engines could provide to the game visual style and representation.
Now, what are some things Unity brought that non-users might not be aware of from your perspective?
I believe that you can build not only games with Unity, but other project and software. Usually, Unity could be used for visual representation in architecture, also in some kind of medical projects. And Unity is very interesting tool that could be used in the vast field of commercial programming, and also, yeah, it's also could be used in movie industry and also animations. So basically, if you know Unity, you could utilize your skills in a different ways in a different industries.
Well, I guess I learned something new as a non-Unity person myself. I had no idea that there's application outside of gaming for it. That's really cool to hear about.
They have actually an interesting solution in construction, in architecture, when you build 3D building, and they are working with AutoCAD. I don't remember, it's dim file, something like that. So, and user in real time can suggest any changes for this building. For example, here we would like to add window. Here we would like to change this, and this. And Unity put all of this together and allow people to communicate during the architectural development. And of course, automotive.
And then on the topic of the people that you might need to build these systems, I'd like to understand what's the team composition that game studios should look for when building a game on Unity. I think on this call we have a pretty good encapsulation of what at a high level that should look like, but maybe Stasi could walk us through this a little bit more in depth.
Yeah, for the team composition, that actually have a lot of gradation from all parts, from engineering, from graphics, and from the design. From engineering development part, first of all, people with fundamental knowledge of programming and fundamental knowledge of mathematics, especially vector algebra, because we need to understand what is direction and what is point, difference between the direction and point. Cross product, dot product. It's save a lot of time during the game development, especially game development. Knowledge of architectural approach, I mean development architectural approach, and of course game programming patterns. That's the main point that we will evaluate in people during team composition. But I'm sure Denise and Alex would like to add.
Yeah, from the game design perspective, there is a lot of different specialities of the game design in gaming projects. So basically, we have some kind of system design, we have the economy design, we have level design, we have what else? Some kind of design that connected to the prototyping of the game mechanics, and also so this is all different specialists with a different specialization, but usually we involve this specialists only if we need them exactly to the role we see them in our next project. So for the beginning, we just start with some kind of high-level core game loop, and then we proceed to the basic mechanics of the game, and then we just make some kind of game design document and give it to our developers, and then we prototype the game. And when we see how its prototype is going on, we can invite other specialists from the game design fields to our game. Yeah, this is it. What about you, Alex?
Yeah. From my side, especially if we're talking about tech art, you should have a flexible mindset, because tech art in Unity is extremely wide range of tasks. Today you can make some particles, tomorrow you can adjust post-process, the day after it's going to be animation, then it's going to be something like technical structures in the level, hierarchy. So you just have to like to learn something new every day. That's kind of that.
I was kind of curious through these conversations, what are actually some of the top challenges that one might encounter when hiring a good game developer or technical artist or even game designer? And maybe Stas, you can take us through your thought process here and what some of the biggest challenges you might face are through the hiring process.
Yeah. We need to find, it's simple and straightforward. We need to find responsible people who love games, love make games and play games. And also we are finding people who are willing to learn something new. Because game development, it's not only Unity. It's about game servers, it's about clouds, yeah, it's about DevOps, and it's about a lot of tools that we usually use in different industries. Everything is in game dev, but also in game dev we need to make interesting, stable, and beautiful. Interesting and beautiful is something abstract, because it's in software it should be stable, yes, it should be useful, and it should be needed for some people. So if people need the software, they use it. If it is convenient, they also use it, or they move to another software. But in games, you should create games that is interesting. What is interesting? Okay.
Fun to play. And also, I would like to add that there is a lot of materials right now on the web regarding the game development in Unity and game development in general, but we need to look for the people that actually make something with their hands, and also that are making the games, not just reading about how to make a game. Because gamer is not a game developer, you know. The people who read how to make a game, they are not game developers. You should make something to really become one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how does one actually? Oh, sorry, I apologize.
I just wanted to say, and you have to love what you do. You have to love games, obviously. But only loving games isn't enough.
Yeah, you have to be a little bit crazy.
Which when considering the difference between knowing how to play a game and make a game, people are obviously going to try to bridge that gap and start to try to build games on their own. How do hiring managers actually effectively assess skills before making any type of hire for one of these types of roles?
Yeah. Again, from engineering part, we firstly look into the code examples, what people did in the past. And based on these code examples, we decide do we probably need to add technical assessment, or we can invite these people for the interview. Because CV is not really useful to evaluate people before the interview. From my previous experience, I remember CV of game designer, and in CV written, I'm a good game designer because I have 80 level in World of Warcraft. This is actually not the case.
At least it shows that they have commitment to their craft. Alex, can you tell me actually a little bit more about how do you assess the skills of an artist, and specifically a technical artist, someone who has to balance that development level and artistry and creativity?
And we're gonna talk about the tricky part, because how do you evaluate a technical artist? Yeah, I'm not like artist, not painting. Yeah, and often we do not write a lot of code. Yeah, so how? You know, fortunately and unfortunately, there's not a lot of technical artists. So
unicorns in game dev.
You're not gonna have a ton of resumes, CVs, sorry, and it's much more easier to have an interview with technical artists, and after like short speak questions and answers, that's pretty much like 90% of what do you need to know about this person. If you gonna have some, I don't know, questions after that, there's always could be a technical assessment, like some simple job. That's kind of all. It's easier because not a lot of propositions on the market. So, yeah.
And I guess from the other perspective, which is the artistry side, how does one assess the capabilities of someone's artistry? Like, how can they create a good game that looks good? You know, I feel like that's a subjective assessment a little bit, but then how do you align that actually to something that's okay, like I'm hiring an artist, how do you know that this artist is good?
Yeah, it's if we're talking more about like art part of this side, always should be some, at least something in portfolio for the visual part, and you can always like try to make like 5-minute live session with this guy. Like, I have a simple task. Can you help me with this? And it's pretty much easy to understand if the guy understands the color theory and stuff like that. It's not a lot to know as a technical artist, because mostly all the time you have some artists who are experts in compositions, and you can always ask them something, yeah. And but still, as a technical artist, you need to understand like beginning of the composition, colors, just have a catchy eye to say this beautiful and this is not beautiful. Yeah, simple as that.
And how about from the game design perspective, Dennis? Are there any other things that you look for that Stas and Alex?
We have something opposite situation in the game design hiring field, because we have a lot of wannabe game designers, because somewhat it seems like a very easy job in the gaming industry, and also it's not true, because it's very hard to hire a very good game designer based on their specialty, based on their level of skills and also competence. And usually we first of all we see the previous places of work for the game designer and his in his profile and CV. Then we discuss his skills on the interview, and then if we need, we just provide him some practical task on the field that he will be added to our project. And so this is it.
Yeah. That's tricky, actually, yeah. As we mentioned, the game is, what is it? Stable, beautiful, interesting. I'm responsible for stable. Stable, it's simple. It can be measured. Yeah, it's really can be measured. But how you can measure beautiful and interesting? And Alex is responsible for beautiful, Denis is responsible for interesting. And this is really tricky. But it is exciting. Okay.
Thank you all. I'm going to now just leave a quick note. Innovecs Games is indeed a game studio that we help outsourcing, outstaffing, especially with Unity development. And from here, we do have one last question, which does go a little bit more into this topic, where I'm gonna ask these gents when is the right time to work with someone like us. So if this is not a topic that's interesting for you viewers, you're welcome to hop off. But if you'd like to learn more about what it's like to work with a game studio like Innovecs Games, stick around for this last question. So gents, when do you believe is the right time to start to work with a game development studio like Innovecs Games?
Okay, again, let's split it into the three parts. From the engineering part, the day one is a good time to start working with Innovecs Games, because expanding development team with engineer is tricky. We need to put into the core of the games good architecture that can be scalable, and we need to train people to work and flow this architecture. If it is not the case, we will not be able to scale this game. So it's the day one. It's a good point for the development part.
For the game design, I believe it could be as early as the pre-production phase of the game.
Day before, day one.
Yeah, minus week, minus 7 day. Yeah, so usually ideas are flying around, and we just need to make them written to the design document. And I believe if someone wants to make some kind of game, they should connect with us, and we as professionals will provide them the information regarding the marketing trends and also what games are actually fun and playable right now, and also yeah, so if you want to make a game, you just need to ask a professional.
How about from the art side?
Actually, anytime. Pre-production, prototype, polishing, anything you need.
Yeah.
Never
art
for the art side.
Yeah. Art is scalable, is tricky part of the game, but it's much more flexible and scalable than development and game design. Because you need to find people to follow this style, to follow these rules. It's not as simple, but it is possible on any stage of the project.
Yeah. It's as hard as any part of the development, but it's flexible in terms of you can add it after, but the sooner the better.
Naturally. And then what are the main reasons that you all think that organizations and game studios should look for reasons to outsource with a partner like Innovecs Games?
Probably in lack of capacity, we will definitely help, especially with graphics. As we mentioned, it's scalable, or in a case of lack of expertise. It is also possible for the game design or development part. But in this case, as soon as possible.
And last but not least, what are the factors that you guys think companies should consider when looking to outsource?
Yeah. First of all, when companies are looking for help, and if they have technical expertise, they can evaluate or be introduced with our development approaches, because we are not just write the code and trying to make it workable. We have rules, we have approach, we have our architecture, and we are follow this architecture. That's allow us to scale project with additional people, additional resources quickly without any big delays. So from my point of view, people should look on the development approach and, of course, capacity and available skills.
Alrighty, well, thank you all. I'll leave everyone on this note. If you'd like to work with Innovecs Games and speak with any of these three wonderful experts, we're always available. Reach us at marketing@innovecs.com. You can also find some of our work on our portfolio at our website, innovecsgames.com. And these gents are always happy to talk more about Unity and all other things within the mobile gaming sphere. We do full cycle development, we do iGaming, slots, and then all elements within that full cycle development. We're not just limited to doing full cycle or bust. So if you need help at the technical art stage, game design stage, technical stage, QA, we're happy to scope that out. That's my sign off. Are there any things that you gents wanted to add before we close out for the day?
Looking forward to work with the new people.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Thank you all. Have a great day. It's been great chatting with you, and hopefully we'll be chatting more about Unity and maybe in the coming days some other game engines, Unreal or some of the other ones. Perhaps not, depending on if you want to make a shooter look-alike or not. It seems. But all right, thank you all, and thank you to our audience for tuning in. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.